Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to another video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about armoring in the three class types of weight classes of light, medium, and heavy, and how I feel about it in the current meta in relation to the resilience changes. But before we get into that big discussion, hey, don't forget to leave a like, rating, and maybe a comment about what you want to see on the channel, and maybe consider subscribing or becoming a member if you really like the content and you really want to support the channel here. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's switch over to this screen right here, get into the game screen, and start talking about it. Let me hit tab. So I personally, me and my friend who talk about this all the time, personally believe that pretty much everyone should be in heavy if you're melee, right? I have a spear in right now because I'm leveling it, but I'm usually axe hammer or sword and board if I'm tanking. Should be in full heavy with like a mixture of like 300 strength, 200 con, something like that. Try to get as close as you can to 200 con while keeping 300 strength, right? And with the new changes to resilience, right? Because resilience was recently properly statted to be only crit and no longer just blocking all damage, right? People are like, oh, I don't need to be in heavy because it doesn't even work the way it's supposed to work. I'm taking more damage. I should switch to light to be more mobile, right? No. If you hit tab and look at these stat numbers right here, the 754, 503 armor rating for elemental and physical, as soon as you go down to medium, it's cut like by a third, and then if you go into light, it's cut by like 2/3 almost, right? Obviously, like not equal those numbers, but they are cut a good portion, right? You're taking way more damage per hit, and my friend and I look at it like this: the more you can be in the fight, the more you can contribute, even if your stats might not be doing as much as they should be doing, right? Like people who are healers are like, oh, I'm gonna go full light, 500 focus, nothing else, right? And they're like, yeah, but you know, you're basically a glass cannon that gets one tapped, right? If a group of 2 or 3 axes jump on top of you, you're dead. You have no way to interact or play. You're just dead, right? And the healers who go less than 300 focus, like 290, 280, and have like full Voidbent and are 200 con almost, are basically unkillable, right? They're healing for a little less, but they're basically unkillable because they can out heal the lower damage they're taking due to all this armor and its physical resistance and all that sort of stuff, right? And that's what we're trying to get a lot of players on our server and any player on any server, which is why I'm making this video, to understand is that heavy is the wave just because of the way this game is. I like to compare it to like a fighting game or like a shooter, right? In the fighting game, it's all about like playing against your opponent in a neutral state, understanding like max ranges, and like if they make a mistake, you make a mistake, and it's called neut, just like playing neutral, right? And knowing that ebb and flow. And in shooters like Overwatch, there's also an ebb and flow of back and forth gameplay because not everyone dies instantaneously like other shooters like Valorant or Counter-Strike, where like there's a lot of like, if you get head tapped, it's all about who can head tap faster, right? It's not about like who can understand their abilities, cooldowns, my abilities, and all that sort of like interplay that adds, personally, what I think a lot more complexity to a game like Overwatch and games like fighting games, right? With that complexity, with that interplay, with that extra stuff going on because you're alive longer, you're able to express your skill as a player more, right? You're not instantly dying with no way to react. You're alive. You can heal. You can stun. You can now move at proper times. And that's what we think is the best way to play this game. And that comes with heavy armor set. Or even medium. Like even medium at that point. Like if you're a mage and you're in the back line, don't be full Voidbent heavy, right? You know, be medium, but have like some sort of like resilience. Like our friend Jared, who also agrees with us, he has like 1 Voidbent or 2 Voidbent pieces, and then like medium the rest, so he's like in the medium section, but he's still almost unkillable because he can fight, take low damage, and then escape, right? He doesn't just, as soon as they jump onto him, have to dodge roll because he's gonna die. And with that being said, I'm gonna be posting a ton of clips on screen, probably like in the middle there somewhere, or maybe even covering the whole screen, I'm not sure. But those clips are gonna show us in Outpost rushes after the resilience nerf, right? Because we haven't switched off of heavy, and a lot of people have, and you can see how we're just running up to healers, and we see a healer with Voidbent who like might still understand that it's very powerful, and then 2-3 healers that are in light, and we just single out the healers in light, 3-tap them, and then focus down the healer in Voidbent. But if they were all in Voidbent, they'd all be healing with like con, like a bit of constitution, right? They'd all be healing obviously a little bit less, but they'd all be surviving way longer, and the the longer a fight goes on, the more individual players can show their skill as a player. And that's what's important. You know, you might be healing less each tick, but you'll be able to do more of those ticks because you'll be alive longer. And that's basically what I want to talk about in this video. It's not like a super crazy thing. We just believe that the current meta is heavy, and we've noticed that a lot of people after the resilience changes have been trying light armor, and we think that as close as you can get to heavy, if you want to stay medium, that's okay. You know, not everyone needs to be in heavy, but we believe that all melee should be in heavy, and everyone else should be in medium at the minimum, right? And personally, I believe that healers should probably be heavy too, just because of the way that they're almost like unkillable tanks. There's even a current thing with like Great Axe and Life Staff where you put an Amber Gem, and that's a bug obviously, but like you can see how like you become an unkillable tank that turns its focus into now damage, and you're almost like a paladin, right? It's like called paladin or something in this game. It's like, obviously if you use the flawed Amber Gem, it's like bugged to do more of the stat, but like you can still do that with like a pristine gem, and it's very effective, right? You won't be doing as much damage, but you'll be an unkillable tank that can heal yourself and heal your teammates, that can also slang and bang a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, healing is super important, and with the heavy armor set, you can basically like become unkillable. It's actually insane. Like, I'll show clips of us trying to dive like an actual healer with full Voidbent, and there's like 5 of us hitting him, and he's surviving and healing himself, right? And God forbid he has a healer focusing him, he's just never dying. Like, that's why we focus the light healers in Outpost Rush, and Outpost Rush is really the way that you can see these big flaws in the way light works, because it's a lot more isolated fights, and it's 20v20s, and like even in those 20v20s there's a lot of like 2v3s or 2v4s or 4v5s, and if it's me and my friend who are full heavy, we're fighting off 5 people and just holding or even winning. We're winning Outpost Rush that we should not be winning because we're all full Voidbent, and the enemy team is like, they have more healers, they have the best healers on the server, and their axe players are running around in light, and we're just 3-shotting them before the healers can even do anything to them, because we're out sustaining the damage that's being done on us, right? All right, so this rant's over because I've been talking for like almost 8 minutes. Probably gonna cut this down a little bit. All right, so now that we're in the full camp, thank you guys for all the love and support on the videos. Hey, don't forget to hit the like rating, maybe leave a comment like I said earlier, and come check out the stream. I stream pretty much every day. Let me know what you guys think about in the comments in relation to this topic, right? Do you think you don't need to be heavy? Do you think medium is better? Do you think you should, light is a viable option for specific things? Or do you think, like how we think, that heavy is just busted? I want to make content like this around like patch notes to like kind of stir up discussions and show clips about like what I think about what's going on and how I feel, and kind of create like a conversation with the community, right? Because I feel like a lot of people sit in like these guild echo chambers where they're just like, this is the best, and then they're like, this is the best, and I kind of want to create like a discussion across the entire game, across the entire community, server to server, player to player, have experienced players talk, people who aren't so good, kind of open their mind to new possibilities and stuff like that. All right, but I'll see you guys in the next video.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me.